The Lions try to right the ship against the Broncos as Joe Flacco and the Browns try to win two in a row. Hey everyone, welcome into another NFL breakdown. Rob Wong joined alongside by Postmedia sports betting columnist Don Brennan and Toronto Sun NFL writer Dan Bilicki. Time to get there against the spread picks for week number 15, guys. And Don, we'll start with you. The Lions have lost two of their last three, including last week's defeat at the hands of the underdog Bears, your Bears, in fact. Detroit will now host the 7-6 Broncos, who are 4.5-point road dogs. Can Dan Campbell's team get back on track, Don?
I think the spread is a little bit messed up here. I think that Denver right now is the better of the two teams. I mean, if you look at the past, they've won 6 of their last 7, and they've done it with turnovers. I think they're a plus 11 turnover differential during that time, and they're limiting teams to under 16 points a game. The exact opposite is the case with the Lions, who had that great start, but like you pointed out, have lost 2 of their last 3. They've been -8 in turnovers over that same span as Denver's been good, and they've been giving up 28.3 points a game in their last 6 games, or somewhere around that. Jared Goff is the big problem here. He's turning over the ball at a rapid rate. He's in the last 7 games, he's thrown 7 interceptions, fumbled 3 times, and he's been sacked 15 times. I know that's not always his fault, but he is a big, slow guy. So, I think that right now, the way that the teams are stacking up, and I like the desperation that Denver has, and I like all business Russell Wilson, and with the guy with the great big hands. He's 37 or 35-17 against the spread as an underdog, which is an impressive number as it is. And I don't know how much stock you want to put into the past, but I think it's significant. He's also 32-15-1 straight up in night games over his career. So, I mean, I think that everything is pointing to, look, Denver might be a good pick to win outright. They're a great pick to cover against 4.5-point spread.
All right, Dan, a pair of 7-6 teams square off in Cincinnati. The Bengals hosting the Vikings as 2.5-point home favorites. Who do you like in this one?
It's a real testament to the Bengals coaching staff how well this team is adapting with Jake Browning in there at quarterback for Joe Burrow. But this Vikings defense is something like they haven't faced for the past 2 weeks. Browning's going to be under pressure a lot more than usual against the Vikings team that likes to blitz, and Minnesota has allowed the fewest offensive touchdowns in the league since week 7, including 0 offensive touchdowns in the past 2 weeks. Like, they shut out the Raiders completely last week. Minnesota has Justin Jefferson, and he took a hospital pass last week, but he's going to be back for this one. And that got Josh Dobbs benched for Nick Mullins. And I think Mullins would be a bit of an improvement over Dobbs, who is a bit past his expiry date. Minnesota is 6-0 on the road against the spread this season, and I think that continues in Cincinnati.
All right, Don, Bills Mafia feeling pretty good after their nail-biter win over the Chiefs last week. They'll now face the Cowboys, who have won 5 in a row. Buffalo is a 1.5-point home favorite. Which way are you leaning here?
I sure hope Buffalo can take advantage of the opponents, taking a penalty and getting called on a penalty they actually deserve, because that was great. The Bills, the Cowboys have been very hot, of course, right? They're as hot as the 49ers, the 2 best teams in the NFL right now. They've won 5 in a row. They've scored at least 33 points in all the victories, and their defense is playing very well. The Bills snuck by that game against Kansas City, but they're in desperation mode. They've got they've been good at home this year. They're 5-2 at home. They've only, despite the battered defense, they've only given up a little over 15 points a game at home. And the Cowboys, most of their record that they've put together has been at home. They haven't been outdoors in a month. They're 3-3 straight up as visitors, and they have had their struggles. They're 1-2 against teams with a record above 500. So, I like the desperation mode that the Bills are in. I'm repeating myself a little bit here. I like Josh Allen in that situation. I can't see him letting the Bills Mafia down, and I like him hooking up with James Cook. The Cowboys have had a little bit of trouble containing running backs coming out of the backfield, and James Cook in the last 2 games, he has 11 catches for 142 yards. So I like the Bills to win, to keep their playoff hopes alive, and to just push the Cowboys back a little bit.
Finally, Dan, the Browns with Joe Flacco at quarterback actually got the win last week against the Jaguars. Cleveland will now host Don's 5-8 Bears, who are 3-point underdogs coming in. Can Flacco keep it going for the Brownies?
Well, you know what? The injuries just continue to mount for the Browns, who just lost their top tackler in Grant Delpit and their second best pass rusher behind Myles Garrett. Their offensive line is full of holes too. They just lost another guy off that. They have wily vet Joe Flacco, who's impressed in his 2 starts, but Justin Fields is on their side, and some Bears fans, maybe even Dawn, could be questioning whether they actually need a new franchise quarterback now. I'm sure they'll still take one, but we'll see. Last week, we pointed out the Browns' defense has been excellent at home, but when they went out and gave up a season-high 27 points. On the other side, the Bears' defense has been improving every week since acquiring Montez Sweat, and they've allowed more than 13 points just once in their past 4 games. We'll take the 3 points in this one, and we'll go the over on Justin Fields' rushing props, too.
All right, a little bonus pick there from Dan. As always, let us know what you're betting on in the comments section below. For all of Don and Dan's NFL picks, head over to the Toronto Sun.